or they sell it to foreigners. They sell it at abnormal amounts. If you go to Cape Town, if you come here in Sandton, in Joburg here, land is extremely expensive, making it impossible for even a willing buyer in South Africa to buy a piece of land at waterfront. That is a deliberate exclusion. Mandela gave them a favorable deal. He said, willing buyer, willing seller. They didn't take advantage of that and sell at a reasonable price. No, they were not willing to sell. They even increased the price. Cape Town is only affordable to the foreigners. Not even a South African multimillionaire black person, Robert Gumed, will not afford to buy a place at waterfront without the support of the PIC. No, you have to get some huge financial institution to back you up before you can afford to buy a piece of land in waterfront in Cape Town. What type of policy is this? What type of freedom is this? That 24 years into democracy, we are worse than the way we were during apartheid. It can't be. Then terror must tell us what must happen. What is terror's policy, which is different from what is happening now? Is terror saying we must continue with willing buyer, willing seller, even when it's not working? It has not worked. Multimillionaires in South Africa can afford houses, proper houses at strategic places in this country. They've made it deliberately so to exclude black people. In the townships now, go to Soweto. Houses that were extremely cheap in Soweto are now extremely expensive. Why? Property must be a reserved thing for white minority. But because we can't say this is for whites, we use money to exclude and perpetuate racism and apartheid.
Of course. I mean, the situation's bad. We were in Diepsloot yesterday. Diepsloot should not exist in 2018 South Africa. And the irony of Diepsloot is that it emerged and ballooned and developed post-94. I last went there about, 12 years ago. It was tiny, a bit rough. Now it's a mess, right? It's horrendous. It's a bad place. Something's wrong. I guess a lot of people disagree on how to fix the solution.
But the good thing is that we're talking about it.
Of course. And Parliament's healthy.
We welcome this. We welcome this debate because in the past, it was a taboo to even talk about it.
Because we're the Rainbow Nation and everything's fine.
You will offend the white people, you will offend the investors. Don't even touch it.
Right.
That's why it stayed like this. But the fact that we're talking about it, and as the EFF, we're not saying we're correct in everything.
Right.
We're listening, we're engaging, we're debating, we'll be told. Once a consensus is reached, we're more than ready to work with everybody to find a solution.
There's a lot of anxiety amongst white people, especially white farmers. We spoke with a white farmer who was tortured horribly. An elderly woman, drills through her feet and all sorts of horrible things. She was called horrible things while she was tortured, and they didn't take much also. Whether it was racially motivated or not, I can't tell. I'm not a detective, right? But ultimately, this woman told me that she blamed you and your rhetoric for what happened to her. So, for example, things like in Newcastle, when you said, we're not calling for the slaughtering of white people, at least not for now. Whether that's a throwaway line or not, to the crowd, this woman blamed you for opening up the gates of hatred and division and racism, and according to her, possible genocide of white people. Respond to her and tell me how you really feel.
She's a racist. You know why she hates me? She hates me because I say we must be equal to her. They hate that. The white people hate the idea that we think we can be equal to them. That's the only thing. She knows I never said there must be a white genocide. She hears me better than black people because I speak in English most of the time. She doesn't need an interpreter. She hears me very well. She knows what I mean by everything. But they hate the idea of equality. That irritates them. that a monkey can never be equal to a white man. They don't want that. I'm hated for that. There's no crime I've committed. I've never slapped a white person. I've never done anything to a single white person bad in this country. Nothing. I've never called for their slaughter. I've never called for their killing. Her torturing, it's crime. After interviewing her, you should have asked Mpho to give you more, or go to the police station to ask for more cases of black women in this country, how they get to be treated by their partners, by criminals. They've got more terrible story to tell than what she's telling you. They die every day. Who called for black people to be tortured like that? Who called for black people to be killed like that? Black girls to be killed like that? No one. Why are they being killed? It's crime. So, because she is white, she must not be touched. She must not be affected by crime. Anything affecting her is political. It can't be crime. It means these blacks are coming for us, which is not true. It's a false alarm. They hate me for saying we must be equal. That idea alone traumatizes them. Remember that when you are so used to having this potion and someone says, I'm bringing more people and as a result you must have half of it, they're like, no man, it's not going to happen. But I don't mind it. They will get used to the idea. They will have to work themselves out of privilege because equality threatens privilege. They are scared that privilege is going away. That's why they hate me for that. They hate everyone who wants to liberate the mind of black people, that we are not monkeys, that we are not subhumans. We are human too, and we are equal to them. They took our land, and when they took our land, they said we don't have title deeds because that's a requirement in terms of European standards. And if you don't have a title deed, you can be treated like an animal. Therefore, you are subhuman because no lion can produce a title deed, although he's the king of the jungle. No elephant can produce a title deed. We are equal like elephants. We are subhuman. And anyone who says to these people, no, you are different from animals, you are human too, you too can work the land, you too can own the land, you too can employ white people, and they can work for you. They're like, he's being disrespectful, this one. He wants to elevate these people to our level. What do? They start smearing me. He's a racist, he wants to kill white people and all that. I'm backing this, that which I'm putting on the table is the best offer to white people. Let black people too own the land and see how much crime is going to reduce and see how much service delivery protests are going to reduce because people will be preoccupied with working the land. They are idling now. They don't own anything. They are waiting for employment. They are standing at the robots with qualifications. They went to school. They responded to Madiba's call that you kids must go to school. We've gone to school, there are no employment. And I'm saying to these people, the employments are not in the white people's hands. The employment is in the land. Let's get our land and let's work our land. I'm hated for that. Where? I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I'm saying to you, we've not called for the killing of white people, at least for now. I can't guarantee the future.
Yeah, but I mean, you'd understand somebody watching that, especially as it gets shared on Twitter, they freak out. It sounds like a genocidal call.
Cry babies. Cry babies.
I'm not calling for the slaughter of white people, at least for now.
I can't give a guarantee of the future, especially when things are going the way they are.
Subtext.
Especially if things are going the way they are, there will be a revolution in this country, I can tell you now. There will be an unled revolution. An unled revolution is the highest form of anarchy. Even me, I'll be a victim of that. Why? Because I've committed a class suicide. I'm no longer with them in the townships. I'm now staying in town. I'm in parliament. I'm earning a salary. When they rise, they will rise against the middle class. And I will not even stand in front of them and stop them, because they will say, you sold us out. You left us in the townships. You went to join them there. I can tell you that now. This inequality, which is growing, which the gap is widening and racially based, blacks becoming more poorer and whites becoming more richer, it's not sustainable.
Of course it's not.
And this will lead to loss of life. So I'm saying to you, not under my leadership will we call for the slaughter of white people. I don't know who's coming after me. I will not speak for them. But they are alarmists. They are crybabies. They are attention seekers. Nothing is going to happen here. No one is going to slaughter them. The farm attacks is just an act of crime. It must be punished in the same way crime is punished in the township. It's not a genocide on white people. We are concerned. Even in the farms there, black workers are killed. Why is the lives of those black workers not exposed to the world? That black workers are being killed. Is that a black workers' genocide? Should we now be alarmist and say there's genocide of black farm workers? No, it's a crime. A white man fed the lions with a body of a black person, right? Feeding the lions with a human being. Why? What should we do? Should we say whites now are killing black people, let's go for them? No, it's a crime. We have to arrest that racist and send him to jail for a very long time. We shouldn't use criminal incidences to now be alarmist and raise unnecessary fears. We're the most peaceful organization, registered with the IEC, with a clear constitution and a program of action. In any of those documents of the EFF, nowhere do we call for genocide of white people. We're going to stay in this country with white people. We coexist. They've naturalized here. I always say the call for white people to be driven to the sea is so stupid, like a call a person will make one day that we must cut all the trees in South Africa. How is this country going to look like without trees? White people have naturalized here. They live with us. We now marry each other. We go to the same churches. We work together. We shop together. Our children now go to schools together, those of us who can afford, right? So why would we call for the slaughtering of such people? We are not calling for the slaughtering of white people. We are fundamentally disagreeing with white people on how we are going to redistribute the land in South Africa to create an equal society. White people are scared of equality. They don't want it because equality is a threat to privilege.
When you're president, not if, but when, in your eyes, will there be such a place as Diepsloot?
No, not at all. Not at all. We cannot have our people living in congested areas like that. It creates health risk. It is not conducive for children. It's not good for human beings. There's enough land for everyone in South Africa. Diepsloot people must be reallocated and they must find decent place for themselves. The problem is that this congestion is created by the fact that they want to be closer to their workplaces. But once they start working the land, there will not be a need of influx into big cities because people want to be closer to their workplaces. They want to work the land. They want resources. We must create democratic cities, for instance. I come from a province called Limpopo, rich with minerals. There's a town there called Groblersdal. We call it is in Skukuni. It has got a platinum. I don't understand why the ANC did not create a new city there with the discovery of such, minerals. Because Johannesburg was created through the discovery of gold. So if minerals create cities, why is platinum not creating a new city in Polokwane? And through the creation of a new city in Polokwane, then you're going to take these people who are in deep slow back to where they come from, because industries are there, the city is there. We've got a new developing place called Lephalale in Limpopo. Why is that not being created as a new city? Why is PE not being expanded and new opportunities created by the democratic state?
Your model, the Chinese are coming in and working in these places.
Well, in a situation where the EFF works with the Chinese, they won't bring their people into our country. They will do it through our own terms. The same thing with Europe, the same thing with the Western powers, the same thing with Russia. We will work with everybody who's prepared to work with us through our terms. That period of inferiority by African leadership, it must come to an end. We must engage with USA, with Russia, with China as equal partners, not as inferior partner in the whole scheme of things. Otherwise, if they are not prepared to engage with us at an equal footing, then let's engage as Africans. Let's trade with each other and grow our own African economy. It is possible.
It's been fascinating observing the evolution of your party, of your career. It's a pleasure talking to you always, Julius Malema.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.